I'm Dr. Shelley. A real quick introduction before I dive into what I feel called to share with you all today, which is the illusion of peace. And it's something that I'm currently navigating in my own healing journey right now. So, I'm a former chiropractor. I had 4 different practices in 3 different countries, and I hit burnout every single time, thinking it was due to one reason or another. But at the end of the day, the burnout always came back to the very same root cause. And that root cause was I knew there was more possible. I didn't just want to be, a snap, crackle, pop chiropractor who patients come and visit, and every time they return, it's the same patterns, the same nervous system dysregulation. Their bodies are still stuck in survival mode because I knew I came here for something bigger than just offering that quick fix solution that patients tend to seek chiropractors for. No matter how much I educated my patients, their bodies were still stuck. So at the end of my 4th practice, I Mother Earth actually guided me. She's like, Shelley, are you willing to give away your practice in order to receive your higher path? And I was at this point of, do I sell my practice? Do I just give it to my associate chiropractor, this young 25-year-old new graduate out of Mexico City, because my final practice was in Mexico. And I ended up giving it away. Long story short, the very day that I handed him the keys, well, before I handed him the keys, my office had exploded. The sewer pipe exploded, showed up there one day, and I mean, the floor was covered in shit water. Got the message, Mother Earth. I got the message. This is my blockage. Okay. And that was a clear severing of my lease contract so that I could easily hand the keys over to my associate chiropractor. And since then, I've been deep in my own healing journey. My husband and I moved to Panama. We currently live here in a luscious super volcano, drawn here for the energy. Again, everything in our life is a story. We were stubborn. We tried offering 7 offers on homes in a gated community on the outside of the volcano, but Mother Earth was like, no, I am going to block every single one of those home offers to get you inside the volcano. And sure enough, here we are inside the volcano. So my healing journey led me to working with sacred plant medicine, writing a book, and during these crazy times, I took a hiatus over the last year to create an entire nervous system regulation. I call it a prepper's kit for these times because our nervous system is truly our anchor for peace. And when it comes to peace, our nervous system is our indicator for whether or not we are living in peace, whether we are fighting for peace, whether we are running, avoiding, flighting from peace or conflict, whether we are freezing in conflict, and whether we're fawning for peace. We stay silent to keep the peace. And seeing where we are at in the world today, there is so much suppression. There is so much silence. Because if we look at how the global events have played out and led us to where we are, we have felt as a collective, as humanity, we have felt helpless, powerless, hopeless. It's us against the system. It's us against the government. It's now us against these egomaniacs with their fingers on war weapons that could potentially, the best way I can put this is my favorite song is Michael Franti. We can bomb the world to pieces, but we can't bomb the world into peace. So when we look at what these, as I refer to them, the egomaniacs who just are fighting for control and power and resources and this and that, we're literally abusing our home planet. We're abusing her every time a bomb is dropped. That's like our own bodies are receiving a bomb, a blow, an impact. We're abusing ourselves. And this is where I have had to come to terms that our external reality is just a reflection of our internal reality. And that is how I have taken responsibility for the atrocities that I'm witnessing on the collective global scale. okay, if I can heal and end the war within me, at least one war within me has ended, and I can contribute that to Mother Earth and what is going on in the collective. And that's why it's such an honor to be here with you all today to share how we as a collective, how we as women, when we come together, we literally we can shift the collective reality. We can shift the timeline. We can shift the state of the world. And it begins with us. Because in ancient times, when war came, women gathered not to protest, not to fight, not to strategize how we're going to win. No, not for any of that. We didn't come together in competition, comparison, not enoughness. None of that, no jealousy. We came together because we knew as a whole, we need to shift the collective reality for all of us. So, with that being said, thank you all for being here. And now I'm going to preface where I am guiding you all today into your nervous system by sharing my current struggle. And I was just having this conversation with my husband last night in our daily evening practice. So, when we bought this house in the supervolcano here, it came with what I call sacred offerings. It didn't come easy. We got it for a really good price. And who we bought it from, the developer, is a literal representation of these egomaniacs that are controlling, running, ruling the world, creating the war, creating division, separation, da 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 da. He's such a clear mirror of these world leaders. He's a colonizer. Within his own family, he has colonized his own family. This land had a hostel on it before he developed the community. And he kicked off his family and sent them to the other side of town. And he did this before, from Panama City to here. And before that, there were locals on this land that him and his family had kicked off. Just get out of here. We're taking over the land. Before that, there have been wars on this land in an Akashic reading ceremony for the land. There's powerful 3 ley lines running across our property, and there has been a sacred mystery school site on this land, but this land has also been the home of a battleground, a hospital during times of war. So there's all these different polarities that have been coming up for us since living on this land that we've been healing in our own relationship. Me being German, my husband being Indian, there's been a lot of colonization there that we have healed for our bloodlines. And then in terms with our relationship with the developer, who refuses, absolutely refuses, makes so many excuses as to why he can't follow through on what the contract of our home states, which is it's under warranty for 10 years. Meanwhile, we have leaks and a roof that's caving in that he refuses to fix. So for the first 4 years living here, we just wanted to keep the peace. So we went into our fawn nervous system state. We silenced ourselves. Everybody said, guys, don't go up and fight this guy. He's got a lot of money. You're never going to win. Him and his family are constantly suing one another. So if you want to keep the peace, don't do it. He will drag you through the cleaners called the legal system, and you're going to waste more money than anything. Well, 4 years later, and lots of frustration with things not getting done, with us being blamed for the leaks because we had to walk on the roof to seal it. Therefore, it's our fault the roof is caving in and leaking. So silly things like that caused frustration. Like, wait, how does this not make sense? You are a developer. You sold a community. Therefore, you should fulfill the contract, right? I mean, in any normal world, that is what you're supposed to do. So now another neighbor has built a house here right next to us, and this is my current dilemma. It's this fight for peace playing out on our land, where no matter what I have asked her to do in order, because she's currently in a situation with the developer as well, can't get her house finished. It's been broken into. She refuses to replace the back door that was broken into, which is inviting more robberies. The community's not gated. There's so many issues. And I've been sharing with her, well, this is how we had to navigate them. If you do this, if you do that, at least you can protect your money because it's a bank loan. It's not cash. We paid cash, therefore he just walked away. And she has an alarm system and it goes off all the time. And she's telling me that she doesn't want to see the 100 notifications on her phone. But meanwhile, it's okay for me to have to listen to the 100 times it sounds a day, which is literally sounding like it's right inside my house. And she's here this weekend, so now I'm presented with this opportunity. Okay, how do I approach her about this? We've been communicating over text, and no matter what I say goes in one ear, out the other ear. I know what her nervous system state is that she's in. She's in survival mode, so she can't hear me no matter whether I talk from a regulated space or whether she will talk and then frustrate me and I get into that dysregulated space where I'm like, I'm not being heard. How does this not make sense to you? It's an easy solution. I'm giving you a solution and you won't do it. So I'm at this dilemma of, okay, so how do I go into this conversation? How do I not, one, go into fight mode? And in terms of peace, we oftentimes go into that warrior mode where we feel the need to defend, to, for me, defend my innocence. Like, wait, no. That's an assumption. That's not correct. Let me defend that. Let me reason and justify and explain because I feel I'm not seen. I'm not heard. I'm being misunderstood. So the fight nervous system state will show up. I call that the warrior who fights for peace. Then there's the flight, because I was like, well, okay, love, she's dependent on everyone to fix everything for her, and I do not want to become her next person that she's dependent on to solve every problem she has in her house, which is how she's currently interacting with me. So I've already set boundaries, but she keeps crossing those boundaries. So now, do I go into the flight mode where I just avoid it and go, no, I'm not going to take care of it for you. I'm not going to help you find a solution. Or do I conquer that and go, okay, so I'm not going to avoid the conflict because every opportunity, every situation, every experience is an experience that we have created ourselves. So I know that I have created her. I know I've created this experience, and I know that I've created it as an opportunity to overcome my nervous system states around peace that I have adopted from specifically my father. My father was a man who kept the peace, even if it meant costing him his health, which it did. He silenced his voice just to keep the peace because he didn't want to be a fighter. He didn't want to go into freeze and fight. No, he would rather just disappear, leave the situation, avoid it, stay quiet, don't say anything, don't upset the apple cart, because, I don't want to deal with the conflict. I don't want to deal with the uncomfortableness that may arise in speaking my truth and stating my boundaries. So for me, this is an opportunity to overcome that lineage wound of silencing. My feminine ancestors silenced their voice, suppressed their truth, couldn't speak up, and so did my masculine ancestors. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to flight from this opportunity. I am going to embrace it, and I'm going to meet it from a place of preparedness. Okay, so how do I go into this conversation? How do I maintain my peace without going into a nervous system fight, flight, freeze, fawn state where neither of us are going to be able to communicate and hear one another? And then we have the freeze state. And that is when you're in the middle of conflict, you just freeze. Or if you know that there's, an opportunity for you to choose peace or conflict, it's like, decision overwhelm. Your nervous system goes into shutdown. You disassociate, you check out. You may choose to numb or escape. So the freeze state is like complete and utter survival mode. I am going to shut down in order to stay alive and in order to survive. And that never gets anywhere because it's worse than avoidance. It's complete and utter avoidance, and we're checking out, we're escaping, we're dissociating. So we're perpetuating the wound and the trauma staying in our bodies, staying stored in our fascia, keeping our nervous system stuck in survival mode. And then there's the one that I know oh so well, the fawn state, the people pleaser. And that was my father, and that was the most dominant pattern for me, was to be the people pleaser. Just to stay quiet, keep the peace, don't upset the apple cart, don't take up too much space, don't make waves, don't trigger or offend anyone, because even that is going to be uncomfortable. So that's the role I played for so long. And it played out even in my chiropractic practices where I have to keep the peace with my patients. I can't set boundaries with them that might feel harsh. You know, living in Mexico, I had a lot of expats as patients, and they would come down and, well, I need to be seen right now. Well, I'm sorry, but I have an entire day of patients who have been booked. I can't just accept you right now. Well, I'm here. I'm important. I need to be seen. And I had this encounter with so many patients that I had to speak my boundaries. I couldn't fawn. Well, let me try to squeeze you in. Well, let me try to make you happy so I don't lose you as a patient. I would have to say no. And unfortunately, the consequences with, I'm sorry, but no, I don't have time, ended up with some patients screaming and yelling in my office. And that was uncomfortable. But at the same time, what was more uncomfortable? Me now disrupting and disrespecting my patients who booked ahead of time to come see me by trying to squeeze in a patient who is demanding they need to be seen right here, right now, just because I want to keep the peace in my office? That wasn't respectful of my patients. They had booked, they had honored my time, and they had honored their time. So the least I could do was honor their time and not go into that fawn state and give in to that demanding patient. So this has been a pattern that I have been breaking for so long, that this opportunity now with my neighbor is a test for me. Can I stay in a regulated nervous system state and address this issue, this concern that we are having as neighbors that I have a solution for, but my neighbor just can't hear it, doesn't want to hear it, doesn't know how to do it, needs somebody else to do it. And where is my boundary of, okay, now I am the one she turns to solve everything for her. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. My time is also valuable. So where is that fine line? And this weaves in to communities now. When we look at the collective, we are so lost in terms of living together in community. And the root cause of that is our nervous system states. So I want you to close your eyes right now. Connect to your breath. Take a nice, long, slow, deep inhale. Feel your entire body inflating like a balloon. And then exhale, sigh it out. Nice, long, slow exhale. Ah. Feel your body let go and relax. And I want you to feel into everything that I just shared. What is your dominant nervous system state when it comes to peace? Are you the warrior who fights to protect? Are you the escape artist who avoids conflict, confrontation, uncomfortableness at all costs? And continue to breathe. Nice, long, slow inhales and nice, long, slow exhales as you continue checking in, recalling all the times that you were maybe the silent witness who just completely shut down to keep the peace, to avoid conflict. Recall all the times you were the people pleaser who sacrificed yourself to keep others comfortable, to keep the peace in your family, to keep the peace at work. And just feel into that. You may have played all the roles. I've played them all in one way, shape, form, or another. And continue to breathe. Nice, long, slow inhales and nice, long, slow exhales. Recalling every single memory. that you've suppressed your voice, that you've been afraid to speak up, that you've been afraid to create waves, to take up space. Because what if that makes someone else uncomfortable? Therefore, you sacrifice yourself. Feel into all of that, all those past memories, all the ways you still notice those patterns creeping in and showing up. Slow inhales and slow exhales. And continue to breathe, continue to keep your eyes closed. This is an inner journey through your nervous system to recognize those patterns and then to track them. So in the fight state, what triggers you to fight for peace, to fight to protect yourself, to defend, to reason, to justify, to over-explain? What triggers you to feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood? Who triggers those feelings? Who triggers that specific fight nervous system state? And just breathe into it. When that trigger occurs, let's say it's your partner, your mother, your father, a friend, your boss. Let's say they say something and immediately you feel the need to defend, reason, justify, over-explain, or you kind of go within and go, ooh, I'm not heard. I need to explain myself. I need to create clarity here. What did they say when you feel that trigger? And now, as you continue to breathe, where do you feel that trigger? That trigger is like a dagger. And that dagger is going to hit you and impact you wherever there is that fight wound stored. Whatever that wound is. And that wound is not just yours. It is that of your mother, your father, your grandmothers, your grandfathers. 13 generations of ancestors equates to about the last 400 or 500 years. And that is 16,382 ancestors, just over 400 to 500 years. Only 13 generations, 16,382 ancestors. How many of them carried that same fight nervous system state? Wherever you feel that trigger in your body, when that fight state gets activated, bring one or both of your hands there, connect with that part of your body, connect with that wound. You can bring your other hand to your womb. Your womb is the home of your life force energy, the very energy that created you, the very energy that creates everything in your life. Your womb is also a sponge. It's a cauldron. It stores every emotion, every feeling, every sensation, every pain of every trauma and wound. Again, not just yours, but those of every single ancestor. On every inhale, feel your body inflating like a balloon into your hands. Push your breath all the way down to your womb. Feel your womb inflating into your hand. Feel that wound wherever it's located. Feel your breath flowing into your womb first and then into that wound, wherever it is, wherever your other hand is located. When you exhale, sigh it out. Squeeze your womb. You can squeeze your pelvic floor. You can squeeze your belly button. If your hand's on your throat, you can squeeze your throat as you sigh it out. Hum it out. Om it out. And we're going to do one more breath for the fight state, that trigger from whoever it is, trigger from whatever it is that sends you into that feeling that you need to fight to protect yourself. One hand on your womb, one hand on the wound, wherever it's located. Wherever you feel that trigger, breathe into it as deep as you can. Push out. Envision that wound inflating like a balloon. Keep pushing your breath into it. Inflate that balloon until it feels like it's going to pop. And when you exhale, squeeze the balloon, pop the balloon, sound out all the air of that balloon, and let go of that wound. It is no longer yours to carry. Just sound it out, breathe it out, let it go. Now that you're aware of it, the next time someone or something triggers it, you'll catch it sooner. Okay, there's, that wound. Okay, I don't need to fight. I don't need to reason, justify, explain. I don't need to be seen or heard. I can just be. After this breath, continue to breathe as you now recall all the memories of running from conflict just to keep the peace. I'll keep my peace if I don't have to enter conflict, if I don't have to go to war with somebody, if I don't have to fight for my stance, if I don't have to prove anything. Let me just run from the conflict. Let me avoid it. Avoidance is a deep trauma defense system, coping mechanism, and it's the second nervous system state, flight. But avoidance doesn't solve anything. So recall all those times that, you know what, I'm just going to avoid replying to that person. I'm going to avoid that difficult conversation. I'm going to avoid this. I'm going to avoid that. It's just going to be easier because if I speak my truth, it's going to be too uncomfortable. So once you have recalled those memories, now recall who or what triggers you into that flight response. The response that causes you to be an escape artist, that runs from conflict, avoids it at all costs just to keep the peace. And then feel in where, when you get triggered, when that person or that experience causes you to retreat and want to turn away and run as fast as you can because it feels like you're being chased by a tiger. So you got to run for your life. Where do you feel that trigger, that dagger, impact your body? Where do you feel it? Recall the most recent trigger. What did you feel in your body? Did you feel your shoulders tighten? Did you feel your throat like there's something stuck in there that wants to come out? Did you feel emotions welling up? What did you feel and where did you feel it? And now direct your breath into that part of your body. You can keep one hand on your womb, connect to your life force, your creative energy, and connect your other hand to that part of your body that gets triggered, that sends you into avoidance, that sends you running. Wherever that trigger is, bring your hand there. And when you inhale, keep your eyes closed. Inhale into your womb. Feel your womb expanding in all directions, up, down, front, back, to the left hip, to the right hip. Push into your hand. Feel your breath flowing into that wound that gets poked, that gets triggered. Feel it expanding. Inflate both your womb and your wound as a balloon. Keep making that balloon bigger and bigger and bigger. Feel your body expanding, pushing out, reclaiming all that power, safety, agency, control, connection with that part of your body that you lost, that you gave away by having that wound, taking up space there. When you exhale, sound it out. Hum, om, ha. You can scream, you can rage, you can make whatever sound you desire. But sound it out. Let those stuck energies flow. And then breathe into your womb and that wound again. Keep breathing in when you think you've reached the max capacity of your body. Like, I can't breathe in anymore. I feel like I'm about to explode. Inhale a little bit more. You can do it. How much power, safety, agency, control, and connection do you desire to reclaim from that wound that's taking up space there? That when triggered sends you into a flight nervous system state, sends you running. Keep inhaling as much as you can. When you exhale, you're going to squeeze your womb, squeeze your pelvic floor, squeeze the wound wherever it is. If it's in your stomach, if it's in your throat, squeeze as you sound it out. Let it go. Let it go. And now we're going to move into the freeze state, the silent witness who just shuts down. This was a big one for my lineage. There were a lot of secrets in my lineage. My father's father was a preacher, a pedophile, a sexual abuser. And from the time I was 5, 1, I began questioning religion, but 2, I knew that my grandfather was a sexual abuser. I knew he had abused 13-year-old girls. And my parents would never let me around my grandfather alone. They did not trust him whatsoever. Point taken, absolutely. But I always questioned, why does my grandmother not say anything? Why are my aunts not saying anything? More importantly, why is my father not saying anything? And it was almost as if my father's lineage, they were the silent witnesses. Everybody knew about it, but nobody could talk about it. Because God forbid, pun intended there, him being a preacher, God forbid you talk about it. God forbid he gets exposed. God forbid there's consequences for what he's doing. And it irked me. I never felt comfortable around him. And it irked me, like, why is everyone staying silent about this? If this was your daughter, speaking of my grandmother or my aunts, would you allow this? And I always had that intuitive feeling like, my aunts are, was and were, is and are, or you know what I mean. One still alive, one passed. But I knew they carried deep trauma because they were obese. And I knew I could feel it in them. I could sense it in them. They carried deep protection in that weight. And this is the silent witness, the one who I'm just going to stay silent. I'm going to freeze. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to disassociate, check out, numb, escape. My grandmother, she smoked cigarettes to numb, to check out, to escape until she created lung cancer because she couldn't breathe anymore because she was swallowing all of her emotions and words that she wanted to speak. But she gave away so much of her power to my grandfather. Well, he's the preacher. He's on the pedestal. So she didn't say anything, so she killed herself. And this is exactly what the silent witness does. The one who freezes. So now, recall every memory where you were the silent witness to an atrocity and you stayed silent because you were afraid to be the one killed. You were afraid of being persecuted. This is where the persecution wound, the witch wound, the fear of speaking up because something bad is going to happen to me if I speak the truth. So we freeze. I don't know what to do. Full anxiety, full shutdown, nervous system, operating system is like, we're just going to do bare necessity to survive. So feel into that. Recall all those memories where you were the silent witness and you couldn't say anything, didn't want to say anything, didn't know how to say anything, was too afraid to say anything. Who or what triggers that freeze state in you? Recall those moments where you just completely go into freeze mode. You're a silent witness who suppresses, who shuts down, who goes into overwhelm, confusion, anxiety, depression because of your nervous system being shut down. Who or what triggers that state in you? Continue to breathe. Nice, long, slow inhales. Nice, long, slow exhales. And as you are recalling those memories, go back into one of them and where did you feel the freeze, the shutdown originating from? So recall that moment. One hand on your womb, your other hand wherever that freeze is located. Maybe on your lower back. It may be on the top of your head. It may be on your left shoulder. Wherever it is, bring that your other hand there. Connect with that wound. Keep your eyes closed, and once your hand is connected on that wound, nice, long, slow inhale into your womb, and then into the wound. Feel both inflating like a balloon. Feel your womb pushing up and down to the left hip, to the right hip, to the front, pushing into your hand, to the back, your sacrum, your pelvis. Feel the wound expanding in your other hand, bringing all of your mental awareness into your hands, into your body, directing your breath with your mind. When you exhale, just sigh it out, let go. Can you feel the sound of your voice, the vibration of whatever sound you're making? Can you feel that vibration underneath both hands? Can you feel that vibration in your womb? Can you feel it in the wound? Another inhale, breathe into your womb. Feel your womb pushing into your hand. Use your hands to create connection with your body, to direct your life force, to direct your breath. See, we can breathe, but if our breath isn't being directed, it doesn't flow where it needs to go. Our breath is our vehicle of our life force. When we direct it, when our mind goes, okay, breath, flow into that wound, flow into your womb. Your mind directs it there. You feel that part of your body expanding into your hand, and you're like, mission accomplished. Ego quiets, mind drops into your body, and your life force is being directed wherever it needs to go through the guidance of your hands. Sound it out. When you exhale, let go. We'll do 3 breaths for the freeze state, the shutdown, because it's a big one. On your 3rd breath, inhale, feel your womb expanding into your hand. Feel that wound that gets triggered, that sends you into shutdown. Feel that wound of being the silent witness. Feel all the emotions connected to it. Breathe into your hands. And when you exhale, squeeze your womb, squeeze your pelvic floor, squeeze that part of your body wherever your hand is. For example, mine's my left shoulder. So I'm going to squeeze and lift my shoulder up into my hand as I squeeze and sound it out. Keep your eyes closed as we navigate into the final nervous system state of fawn. The people pleaser who keeps the peace, who sacrifices herself. Got to keep everybody else comfortable. This nervous system state weaves in and out of the flight state because oftentimes we will avoid conflict, not only to keep ourselves comfortable, but it's an illusion of comfort, but to also keep others comfortable. Well, if I just avoid the conflict, then I'm not going to make that person uncomfortable. I'm not going to have to deal with it. So the fawn state can weave in and out of all of your previous states. So now I want you to recall all those times you've been a people pleaser. Where have you kept the peace to keep others comfortable, putting others first over yourself, not being able to speak your boundaries because they may trigger someone, they may offend someone? Quick little story about this one. We had a couple house sit and pet sit our little dog, our guru. And I did not speak clear boundaries because the boundaries, I assumed they were common sense. I assumed that this couple was not going to eat nearly everything in our freezer that is hard to find here in Panama, and two being vegans, special vegan hamburgers and whatnot. And upon returning, literally all of our food items that were in the freezer, not like frozen grapes or frozen mango, but the real food items, they were all gone. And when I asked the couple about it, oh, well, we didn't have money to buy food, so we just thought we could eat yours. We're staying at your place anyway. And it was like, wait, that was not part of the contract. So we did not give you permission to eat all of our food. And because I did not speak those boundaries, because when I walked them through the house, I assumed if I'm going to take care of somebody's house, I'm not just going to eat all of their food. So I didn't speak those boundaries. And because I didn't, because the fawn state came in, well, if I say that, that might offend them. They might be like, well, why would you say that? We're not going to eat all your food. So I didn't speak it, only to come to find out the very thing that I didn't think they would do, they did because I didn't speak it. So where have you not spoken because, well, it's assumed I'm going to offend them if I say that? Like, that's common sense. They should know better. Where have you been that people pleaser? Where have you silenced your voice, your truth, your boundaries, just to keep others comfortable, to not take up too much space? Recall all those memories. Recall who or what triggers the fawn state. Who or what triggers the people pleaser in you? And when that person or thing triggers you to go into people pleasing mode, where do you feel it in your body? And then go there. Bring your hand to that part of your body, wherever it is. Keep your hand, one hand on your womb, and just connect. Keep your eyes closed, nice long slow inhale, breathing into your hands, breathing into your womb, breathing into the wound. Exhale, let go, sigh it out, hum it out, om it out. Just let go. Breathe in again. Feel your womb expanding in all 6 directions. Up, down, left hip, right hip, into your hand, into your sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of your spine in the back. Just breathe in. Feel your breath flowing into that wound that gets triggered, that sends you into being a people pleaser. Inflate both your womb and the wound like a balloon. And when you exhale, sound it out. Can you feel the vibration of your sound underneath both of your hands? Bring all of your awareness into your hands. Inhale again. Expand, expand, expand. Inflate both your womb and the wound like big balloons. You want to breathe into them, reclaim space, power, safety, agency, control, and connection. Keep reclaiming. Question I like to use is, how much more space, safety, agency, control, and connection can I reclaim? Okay, let me do one more inhale. And I suck more in and I push more out. And then when you exhale, squeeze and sound it out. Squeeze your pelvic floor. You can pull your belly button in. Squeeze the wound underneath your hands. Sound it out however you desire. And then after this breath, bring one hand to your heart. Keep your other hand on your womb. Keep your eyes closed. And now feel in to the freedom of the flow state. When you're not in survival mode, when you're not dysregulated, but when you are aligned with your soul, with your higher self, with your higher consciousness. It's like that question back in the day. What would Jesus do? What would you do? What would your soul do? How would your soul behave? How would your soul react, respond? What choices would your soul make from this state in terms of peace? Breathe into your womb and heart. Feel both expanding, inflating like big balloons, pushing out into your hands. Feel the rhythm of the beating in your womb, in your heart. When you exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor, hum or om. Can you feel the vibration of your hum or your om in your womb and in your heart and in both hands? As you envision every single woman's womb and heart lighting up like a golden infinity symbol, and then connecting to every other woman's womb, heart, infinity symbol on this planet, like one big giant spider web. That is the collective web that we are all connected into. So breathe into it, expand, visualize women, all the women on this planet connected via this one web. When you feel your woman heart expanding, can you feel that expansion flowing out through that web, flowing out, creating ripples in that web, flowing through all the other women on the planet? You're not here to save or fix them, but you are here to contribute your regulated state to the web. Because your regulation can trigger an awakening in them to reclaim their power, to reclaim safety, to reclaim agency, to reclaim control, to reclaim connection with their body, to reclaim their voice that they've suppressed just to keep the peace. And this is how we as women shift the collective reality. This is how we create a different, higher timeline rooted in unconditional love, peace, joy, abundance, gratitude, compassion, authenticity, trust. This is how we as women give birth to the new earth. We can't carry our survival mode nervous system states into the new earth. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a new earth. It wouldn't be a higher dimension. We wouldn't be in unconditional love if we carry survival mode there. Survival mode is rooted in conditions. It's rooted in traumas and wounds that keeps our operating system stuck in these trauma loops, that keep us automatically and unconsciously behaving, reacting, responding, communicating in a certain way or not at all. Continue breathing into your womb and heart, visualizing this collective web of women around Mother Earth. Visualize the web lighting up a beautiful golden color. And whatever you're feeling in your body with this flow state, where you no longer suppress your voice, where you no longer fight to keep the peace, fight to prove your stance, fight to be right, fight to be seen, heard, understood, defend, reason, justify, over-explain, where you no longer avoid conflict or confrontation, where you no longer go into full freeze mode, and where you no longer become the people pleaser. What does your reality look like when none of those four nervous system states are even there? When you can't even remember them? Who are you? How would you be? How would you show up? What would you create as your reality? How would you communicate differently? Feel into that, because that is right there. And it's just a choice away. And sometimes it feels really hard to get there when our nervous system is stuck in survival mode. So, as I said at the beginning, when women gather, we have the power within us to shift the collective, and it begins by us shifting our internal state. So one more nice long deep inhale into your womb and heart. Reclaim your power. Remember that yes, you are that powerful to shift the collective state. And when you contribute, when you show up in community from that regulated state, you are a gift, you are a contribution. When you speak your truth, whether or not it keeps peace or creates conflict, how does it feel to speak your truth rather than suppressing it and creating more survival mode, creating dis-ease in your body because of the suppression of your truth, your voice, your emotions, your womb, what you really feel, your boundaries? When you exhale, nice, long, slow exhale, offering a sacred offering of gratitude to you, to every single woman on this planet, to every single ancestor, to Mother Earth herself, to Father Son, to your galactic family and spirit guides, and to your divine parents, your divine mother and divine father who birthed your soul. And then you can say aloud or internally, thank you, I love you, to you, to all of your ancestors, to everyone on this planet, to the collective, to Mother Earth, to Father Son, your galactic family, your divine parents, your loved ones. Sacred sisters, thank you so much for being here, for experiencing this live, for having me here, for dropping into your body and shifting and transmuting these nervous system states so you can show up and collectively, when we reclaim our power, the external war will end. And it ends when we end that inner war within us. And that inner war is when we're stuck in survival mode. So during these times, I have a lot of free nervous system regulation offerings that I've created to assist you, to help you navigate the chaos, the emotional turmoil, the solar flares, and the Schumann resonance spikes that's literally bringing our survival mode to the surface to be alchemized, to be transmuted. We don't have to get wiped out by the tsunami that is coming, the great flood of emotions, of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We can meet it. We can just remember to breathe, and we can remember how to transmute it by coming home to our wombs. So I'll share the links in the comments for my nervous system app called Regulate, where you can decode your pain, symptoms, nervous system state, menstrual cycle, financial relationship to the root cause. I've got a free regulation community where every week I offer somatic sermons, decoding religious stories to help us take back our power from external gods and goddesses. And remember, we are God and Goddess embodied. I create sonic journeys to guide you into your body through exactly what I shared here. And then I have a womb reset ceremony because I, just like our fellow sister here, Dr. Amba, I know that when we gather and we go deep in ceremony, we go deep into our wombs and we de-armor our wombs of all those unhealed traumas that we inherited from our mother, our grandmothers, so on and so forth. We de-armor our wombs so we don't pass on these nervous system states to the next generation. And the beauty of de-armoring your womb is that in real time, your healing will get passed on to the next generation, your children, your grandchildren. So I have a womb reset ceremony, a gathering of women to come together and partake in a sacred ancient feminine ritual where you sit over a steaming pot of herbs and flowers, and you're guided through practices just like I shared today. Breath work, what I call womb kriyas, to transmute all of these traumas and wounds that keep your nervous system stuck in survival mode, that keep you feeling like you are at war with yourself. So if you know any sisters who feel called to come home to their womb, who feel called to shift their nervous system state, the link is in the description. I can also share it with any of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am here to offer the pathway that I have found home. And that's truly all I'm offering is this is what works for me. This is what led to my burnout, and this was the wisdom awaiting me on the other side of my burnout. Let's get to the root cause. And the root cause of all my patients being dysregulated, not holding their adjustments, having the same patterns showing up over and over no matter what they do, is because they were not in their womb. They did not de-armor their womb. They were stuck living in their head. And while all the roots, just like a tree, when we're in our head, tree branches, leaves, the roots in Mother Earth are in our womb. And that was truly the root cause of all of my own suffering, as well as the burnout in my practice. So that's a little bit about my sacred offerings that I've created and continue to create to